This then is my new, to me, 1994 Ford Mustang 3.8 V6. Now I know what you're thinking. You've already got a Mustang. This one. But this one isn't mine. And this one isn't a 1994 Mustang. This one is a 1996 Mustang. And there is a difference. Now even though they're both mid-90s Mustangs, and they're both 3.8s, and they're both automatics, there's one main difference between my new to me 1994 and my mate's 1996. And that main difference is purely the way they're designed inside. Now the 1994, that one, in that particular guise, ran for 2 years from 94 to 1995. It was also available as a V8. Now the 94 and 95 Mustang came out available with the 302 V8, which was the 5 litre. The 96 onwards Mustang came out with the 4.6 V8, which is a completely different engine. Not only is it 400 cc's lower capacity than the 5 litre, but it's a different design when it's in the car. Now the 94 and 95, if you get the 5 litre V8 K-frame from the 94 and 95 Mustang and put it in the 3.8, you can put a 5 litre or a Windsor engine in there. Now the Windsor is a 5.8. The 302 is based on the Windsor block. At least I believe it's based on the Windsor on the Windsor block. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think it is. And I just happen to have a Windsor 5.8 block and engine in my garage. But I didn't buy this particular 3.8 so I could convert it to a 5.8. No, the reason I bought this one is because it was insanely cheap and it was local. It was in walking distance of where I live. And at the end of the day, I already have two of the V8s. I have a 6.3 and I have a 5.8, as well as many other vehicles. So I don't need, well, I would like to have, but I don't really need another V8. V6s can be just as much fun as V8s can be, and V6s are more economical as a daily driver, which is what this one's going to be for a while. And this one still has its original 15-inch base model 3-spoke wheels all the way around. Now you have to excuse the fact that it's a little bit scruffy at the minute, and there are some cobwebs hanging around it, but you're seeing it literally as I've just gotten it. I've just brought it home. It took us less than 5 minutes to get it here. But the other main difference between the two, if you look at them, is the back of the 96 has the vertical headlights, the 3-bar verticals. The back of mine looks as though it has some kind of weird Lexus style taillight that's been added into it. I'm not too keen on that. I like the original lights that go into the 94s and the 95s, which are totally different to the 96. These are the original lights, the 3 horizontal bars. I like these ones. And as this one's come complete with its original set of the horizontal bar taillights, they're the ones that I'm going to be putting in here eventually. These ones will do for now, but those ones are going back in. And you can see the different styling between the two. I do have this lovely, it's like a sort of a velour material. Absolutely lovely though, lovely and comfortable. I do have that. There's no rips, tears, there's no wear apart from that tiny little bit there. There's no other wear in it at all. Obviously it does need a good clean out because it has been standing for a while. Back seats are exactly the same, no wear, no tears. Back seat bases, or the back seat backs rather, they do fold down so you can get into them from the boot, so you can get larger items into the boot. Everything in here seems to work. In fact, everything on the entire car seems to work. Even the courtesy light. It's a lovely place to be, sitting here nice and comfortable. See all the gauges quite clearly through the steering wheel. It's not the original radio. It doesn't seem to want to tune in to any radio stations when I've been playing about with it, but it does have a working CD player, and that'll do for now. And of course, being 1994, it does come with a driver's airbag and a passenger airbag as well. Still, you can't have everything in life. What a lovely car it is though. This is really nice. Now as I said, it does need a bit of a clean because it has been standing for a couple of years, which is one of the reasons why it was so cheap, because at this precise moment in time it's not taxed and it's also not MOT'd, so it needs to go for its MOT. Hopefully it'll go straight through. Obviously the number plate's already been in the video. If you check the MOT history, you'll see how well it was doing in the years leading up to its last MOT, which was 2021. So I'm going to get this sorted, make it look a little bit cleaner than it already does, and then we're going to send it off for an MOT. So if it disappears from the drive of dreams in the near future, don't worry about it. It hasn't just vanished overnight. It's going away for MOT and it's going to be in storage for a little while I try and create some more space for it in the driveway here, because at the minute I've had to park my Mondeo all the way over there. Now it also came with a whole bunch of spares. I've got various gaskets, various replacement parts, old parts or original parts left over from parts have been replaced, and of course those two original taillight sections sitting in the boot there. Or perhaps that should be the trunk. Now if you haven't already noticed, it did used to be a silver car, and it has been resprayed in what I believe is imperial blue. But it's certainly been a nice paint job. It's covered the car really well. It's a shame those wheels are tucked so far into those arches though. May have to do something about that. But all that can happen later. For now, the most important thing, get it cleaned up a bit and get it off for its MOT. Now it has been quite a while since I owned a Mustang. I have had them before. It's been a long time since I owned one. My very first one, back in, it would have been the late 80s, was a 1965 two-door coupe like this. The one I had after that was a 1984 Fox Body Mustang 2.3, which looked a bit like this. And then my final one after that was a 1993 Fox Body 5 litre V8, which is this one here you can see now. If you have that, or you know where it is, put a comment in the below, just so that I know where it is. When I sold it, it went from Northumberland all the way down to Cornwall, and then it was sold on again, and I don't know where it went after that. It would be nice to know if it's still on the road and somebody's still enjoying it though. And let's face it, you can't really own an iconic Dodge Charger without owning a Mustang as well. The film that came out in 1968, Bullet, that had a Dodge Charger in it. It also had a Mustang in it. And then there was that TV series, The Dukes of Hazzard, famous for its Dodge Charger, and that also had a whole bunch of Mustangs in it all the way through the series of its entire run. So you can't have one without the other, and now I finally have one of each. It might not be the right year or the right model, but at least I own a Dodge Charger and a Mustang, finally, at the same time. So the previous owner initially came to see me and let me know he was selling the car, and asked me if I knew anybody who may be interested in it. So when he gave us all the information for it and asked somebody who wanted for it, he told us the price. It was a no-brainer. Not only was it walking distance away from where I'm stood right now, but it was insanely cheap. I didn't think I'd ever be able to find a Mustang, be it a V8 or a V6, that was running, driving, and just needed an MOT for less than £2,000, less than £2,000 for this fantastic Ford Mustang that sat right behind me. I mean, I do have to go through an MOT, so who knows, but it has been meticulously looked after, as I said, and everything does seem to be working on it, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm just going to clean it up, throw it in for an MOT, and we'll go from there. What a deal though. It's not often I'm one of those people that's in the right place at the right time and I have the right amount of money available. I think I've done really well with this one, and I'm certainly going to enjoy it. Even if I don't make any changes to it, it'll be an enjoyable car to drive around in for a while anyway. And this is what Ford's 3.8 V6 looks like under the bonnet, or hood in this case. It's obviously fuel injected, no carburetor. Does have a cold air intake. It goes through into the wing where all the air comes through and gets forced into it. Now at the moment it's not that clean under here, so it does need a bit of a clean, which obviously I'll get around to doing. But there's acres of space to get your hand in. You could actually stand just about in there if you need to bend over and do anything on the engine. As I say though, it's all being well looked after. Just need to go through that MOT, get it taxed, and then we can start enjoying it on the road. And of course, when it is MOT'd, taxed and on the road, it'll be really interesting to put this one side by side with the 96 and see if there's any real difference between the two of them. For some reason this one feels to be a little bit more powerful or a little bit faster than the 96 is, but then again that could be because I've spent 2 years driving around a 2 litre Mondeo. So that might have something to do with it. This one is virtually twice the size in engine than the Mondeo is. So that could have a lot to do with it as well. But there is some slight differences between the two. Showed you most of them already. There's some of those, and we'll get into them in another video. I just couldn't wait any longer. I had to film this one before I'd cleaned it up and tidied it up and had it wait to get its MOT test done and show you that I'd bought a new toy. So that means I own 6 cars now. Although there's 8 here, if you include the Mondeo across the road, but 2 of them on the drive aren't mine, and they're being dealt with at a later date, hopefully not too far from now in the future. This is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy this. It's a long time since I drove anything left-hand drive. It's been far too long. Need to get back into something where the steering wheel is on the correct side of the car, as controversial as that may seem. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you've liked seeing my new toy, then caress the like button on the way out. And if you want to see more stuff coming up, not only on this Mustang, but on that Mustang as well, and all the other cars in the drive, and the microcamper conversion to the Hilux, hit subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.